Hello students, welcome to the business studies class. In today's class students, we are going to discuss the types of partnership firms and the types of partners in the next topic that we will discuss. First of all, let's discuss about the types of partnership firm. There are actually two types on the basis of duration and on the basis of liability. So on the basis of duration, students, duration, it means it is related with the time period. So one is for the indefinite time and one will be for the definite time period. So first one is partnership at will. It has been clearly mentioned that as long as the partners want to carry the business, they can carry, and whenever they want to dissolve by giving a notice, whenever they want to dissolve the fund, they can dissolve it. So that is totally related with the will of the partners. Will of the partners. Now, second one in this is particular partnership. As the name has been suggested here, particular, it means for a particular work, for a particular time period. So it is totally related with the something that is for a specified period. For example, if you have taken a contract to make the to build the building, so after completing the construction of the building, your partnership will be over. So it is known as the particular partnership. Now here B point, that is the second category, on the basis of liability. Now what are the different types of partnership? There is a general partnership and there is a limited partnership. General partnership means, students, it's a normal partnership that we carry. It means the registration is not compulsory for that partnership and all the member is having the unlimited liability. As we all know what is unlimited liability, when the firm's assets are not sufficient, that time the partners has to pay it from their personal assets. It is known as the unlimited liability. So clearly here I have given the partnership in which the liability of all the member is unlimited. So it is called the general partnership. Now, next one is the limited partnership, as the limited word is there. So the liability of at least, actually in the partnership, the liability is unlimited. So when the limited partnership, they are having at least one member, one partner must have the unlimited liability. And the others, they all will have the limited. So when one partner is bearing more than the others, so his profit sharing ratio would be more than. So for that benefit, the partner may have his unlimited liability. And registration is compulsory for limited partnership. Sometime in the questions we ask for which type of partnership the registration is compulsory. So the answer is limited partnership. So it was the types of partnership. Now we are moving the next topic, that is the types of partners. Now we are having the different types of partners. First is active partner. As the name has been suggested here, active partner. He is actively participating in the management. He contribute the capital and also share the profit and losses of the firm. So he is known as the active partner. It means a normal partner that is doing all the work for the partnership is known as the active partner. Now, second one is sleeping or dormant partner. Now, here you can see the word sleeping. It means he is very lazy. He does not take part in the partnership, in the management. So, clearly here I have given students, he does not take active part in the management. It means he is not doing work, but he is sharing the profits and losses, and he also contribute the capital to the firm, and his liabilities are unlimited. It means all the things are remain same except the work. He is not doing any work for the firm. So he is known as the sleeping partner or dormant partner. Now third one is secret partner. Secret partner, it means a partner whose association with the firm is hidden to the world. A partner who is sharing profits and losses, whose liability is unlimited, who is bearing all the losses, who contributes the capital. It means he is doing all the work what the active partner is doing, but his name is not known to the other, to the outsiders. He is unknown for them. So he is known as the secret partner. Now what is nominal partner? Nominal partner, as the name has been suggested, only for the name's sake, only for the name or the goodwill, he has become the partner of the firm. He is not actually a partner. He does not invest the money. He does not take profits. But still, if just because of his name, if someone has given some benefits to the firm, and then his liability became unlimited for that person. Suppose if there is a person A and B, and C is a well-known, very reputed person, and just because of C, someone has given loan to A and B. Someone has invested their money to A and B just because of the name of the C. So if in case A and B are not able to repay his loan, what would be happen? C will also be liable for that particular third party. So his liability became unlimited. So he is known as the nominal partner. Now next is now partner by estoppel. Students, remember these things. There are two partners, partners by estoppel, and next one would be the partner by holding out. Partner by estoppel, he himself gives impression, he himself gives impression to the outside world that he is a partner of the firm. It means with his conduct or with his behavior. He is not a partner although, but with his conduct and with his behavior, he is showing himself as a partner. So this is known as the partner by estoppel. His liability is also unlimited toward the third party. Remember, if just because of that person anyone has given money or anyone has invested money in the firm, so his liability became unlimited for that particular person. Now partner by holding out, as I told you, the basic difference between the holding out and the partner by estoppel. In estoppel, he himself pretend as a partner. He gives such kind of activities. He do such kind of activities that he show himself as a partner. But partner by holding out, when the other partner, suppose A and B are two partner and C is a very reputed person, and in the meeting he is also sitting there with the A and B, and A and B are calling him partner, but he does not deny in the front of the other party, in front of the third party, he does not deny that he is a partner. So in this way, he also became liable toward the third party. He does not deny, I have clearly mentioned here. He does not speak himself as a partner, but when the other partner calls him as a partner, so he does not deny. In this way, he became liable for the third party. He became liable for the third party. So this is called the partner by holding out. Now students, next one is minor as a partner. A minor is a person who is not attained, who has not attained the age of 18. So what is the condition about him? A minor clearly I have given here a minor is a person who has not attained the age of 18. So he is not valid to enter in an agreement. For entering into an agreement, our law has been a law said that person must have the age of 18. So a minor cannot be capable enter into the agreement. So he cannot become the partner, but sometime, students, sometime a minor can be admitted to the benefits of an existing partnership firm, but only for the profits. Only for the profits. He cannot be asked to bear the losses. He cannot bear the losses. He will be only admitted for the firm, but he cannot bear the losses. His liability will be limited whatever amount he had been contributed. Suppose I have contributed, I am a minor person and I have contributed 50,000 rupees. So my liability will be limited toward only what I have contributed to the firm. I cannot actively participate in the management also. So it is about the minor partner. Now, next topic is partnership deed. So you must remember this partnership deed. It's an agreement. It's an agreement on a stamped paper, a written document that specify all the rules, terms, conditions of the partnership. Remember, it is a written document that describe all the rules and regulations of the partnership. Now, what are the generally items that have been included in the partnership? So it carries all the information about the partnership. Some examples are there: name of the firm, location, duration, investment. So every information, what would be the ratio, what salary, drawings, what would, everything has been mentioned here clearly, so that in case if there will be a quarrel or conflicts among the partners, so it can be solved with the help of this partnership deed. So here clearly all the things have been mentioned. Now, registration of the partnership firm. Registration of the partnership firm is not compulsory. It's optional, students. It means they can get registered their partnership firm or not. But actually, like if I give you an example, if your scooty has been stolen, a registration, when we purchase a new scooty or when we purchase a new bike or a car, what happened? We get it registered, RC. You know, we know a term RC. So with the help of this registration, a number has been allotted. A number has been allotted to our scooty, bike or car, etc. when we get it registered. And sometime if it has been stolen, so we can make a complaint that our scooty number or car number this has been stolen. Suppose if it was not registered, so we would not be able to file a case. We would not be able to file the complaint in the police station when we are not having any number. So registration is having some of its benefits. So a firm must get itself registered for the benefits. Now, what are the benefits or what are the drawbacks if we are not having the registration? Here clearly it has been mentioned what are the consequences of the non-registration firm. Now, what are the consequences? A partner of an unregistered firm cannot file suit against the firm or the partner. A partner, if the firm is not registered, a partner, if he is not getting his share of profit, if he think that he is not getting his share of profit, so he cannot file a case against the firm or the other partner. Then second one is the firm cannot file a suit against the third party. If the firm is not registered, it cannot file a case against the third party. And the firm also cannot file a case against the partner. So these are the drawbacks if the firm is not registered. So To enjoy the benefits, we must get our firm registered. Now moving to the next topic, it's a cooperative society. As the name has been suggested, cooperative, it has been derived from the word cooperation. It means when the people are ready to help each other. So if we go through the meaning, it's a voluntary association. Voluntary means here with the will of the person. It's a voluntary association of the person who have joined together with the motive of welfare of their members. So it is known as the cooperative society. Like if I give you example, suppose there are so many bookseller here nearby your house or in the market. So they are selling the goods, they are selling the material on the profits. Now, if you think that it's a regular, it's for a regular need. So what happened? 10 people, at least 10 people need to form a cooperative society, and they get themselves registered. After getting their firm registered, they can also open their cooperative society. They directly purchase the goods. They directly purchase the goods from the manufacturer. In this way, the mediators can be eliminated and we can enjoy the benefits. So this is the only reason why we open the cooperative society. Its main motive is to provide facility to its members and eliminate the mediator, so that the profit margin can be reduced in this way and the cost can be reduced. So it's compulsory required to get cooperative society registered under the Cooperative Society Act 1912, and minimum 10 members are required. Minimum 10 members are required to form a cooperative society. So it is known as the cooperative society. Now features. First is voluntary membership. If I have already told you, voluntary means with the will of the partners. Any person can anytime join the firm or anytime he can leave the society. There is no such restriction on the entry or on the when the person is leaving the cooperative society. So any person can join or any person can leave. Now legal status, as registration is compulsory. As registration gives a separate legal entity. Registration gives a separate legal identity to that particular firm. So it becomes a separate, it has a separate legal identity. Limited liability, all the partners are having the limited liability. Here we are having the limited liability. Whatever capital they have contributed, if any person has contributed 10,000, so he will only pay up to rupees 10,000. So in this way, the capital liability became limited. Now control, because there are so many members and all cannot run the cooperative society. So what happened? Like if I give you example of our country, all the members, all the persons cannot run the country. So we need a leader. We need some people who can manage all the activities for the country. Like we are having the prime minister, we are having the chief ministers, then MLAs. So in this way, they take care of our country. So same here in the cooperative society, students, what happened? Management and control lies with the management. The people who are the member of the cooperative society, they give vote and elect the members. So in this way, the control lies in the hands of the members. Service motive. Next one is service motive. The main motive is to serve, not to maximize. They don't focus on maximizing the profits, but they focus on serving. Profit is, we all know, necessary to run any of the business, to run any of the firm. Profit is also, we cannot deny the need of the profit, because it is also necessary to run any of the business, but it's a secondary. It's a secondary motive. The first motive is to provide service to their members. Now, what are the merits? Equality in voting rights. This is the first benefit, first merit of the cooperative society, equality in voting right. Now, every person has one man, one vote. It is totally basic on the based on the principle of one man, one vote. It means if the person has contributed more capital, he will be allowed to give 2 votes or 3 votes or more votes. No, single person, single vote, like we are having a democratic country, we all give a single vote. So here same the rule has been followed. Now next one is limited liability. That is a benefit of the cooperative society, limited liability. Limited, it means they are limited to the capital contribution, whatever capital contribution they have made. So the liability is limited to particular that amount. Now stable existence, it does not affect with the life of the member. It does not affect with the life of the member. So it has a stable existence. Like if I give you example of the sole proprietorship, what happened? If the owner dies, the business also end. But here, it does not affected with the life of the members. Now, economy in operation. Next is economy in operation. Now, how it's economical? Because elimination, there is no middleman. Middlemen also having their profit sharing. So when we are not having any middlemen, and also most of the services, most of the work has been done by the member themselves. So in this way what happened, and they also directly purchasing from the wholesaler. So in this way we can say that they are enjoying the all things on our benefits. They are having a economical operation, economical function. It means they are having the benefits. Directly they are purchasing from the wholesaler. Like if we purchase something from directly from the manufacturer, what would be happen? We will have it on a less cost. So in this way its functions are generally on a benefits. Now support from the government also provides the subsidies, and also subsidies, it means when something government providing on a less amount, whatever they need. If they need some of the machineries, government providing it on a less price, it is known as the subsidy. Also at if they need the loans, they also the government also provided at the less interest rate, and also government charge the less taxes. So in this way these cooperative societies are getting more benefits from the firm, from the government. Now ease of formation, as we know only 10 members are required to form the cooperative society. So it is easy, and there is no such type of lengthy procedure. Only few legal formalities are there. With the help of that we can form a cooperative society. Now moving to the next topic, that is the limitation. Now what are the limitations? First one is limited resources. Now limited resources, as we all know, there is a very less profit margin. So no one want to contribute the capital just because of the less interest rate. It does not attract the members. It does not attract the members. So in this way they are having the less resources of the funds. Now in efficiency in management, as they are, it has been run by the elected members, and the cooperative societies cannot also afford the employees. Actually we have to make payment whatever, or the employees that we are hiring, we have to make them payment, and these societies does not have such kind of profit margin so that they can afford the experts. So in this way the management is not so efficient because they can't give them the higher salary. Now third one is lack of secrecy. as government is providing support, and they have to openly show their accounts. They have to openly show their accounts. So there is no secrecy in their form. Now next is government control. As government is providing support, so what happened when the government is providing support in the different ways, so government will also check the accounts, how they are spending the money. So in this way they have to get their accounts audited, and they have to submit the copies to the registrar. So government is having excessive control over the activities of the cooperative society. Now last one is differences of opinion. As we all know, the more number of people, the more number of opinions, and they have the conflicts among each other. So in this way, sometime they may have the quarrel among the each other. So these are the some basic limitations which we are having in the cooperative society.